General Motors, a behemoth in the automotive industry, finds itself walking a tightrope as it grapples with the daunting task of transitioning to electric vehicles in a rapidly evolving market. Despite its size and scale, the company is facing an uncertain future as it navigates this critical juncture in its history. Led by CEO Mary Barra, GM is wrestling with setbacks in the Chinese market and fighting an uphill battle in streamlining its own US operations. To make things worse, as General Motors is navigating through these turbulent waters, Tesla CEO Elon Musk has recently unleashed a series of bombshells at Tesla's Investor Day event that have the potential to further impact the industry, leaving GM at a distinct disadvantage. Tesla has already slashed vehicle prices earlier this year, which has been putting noticeable pressure on its peers. But now General Motors is stumbling over its own feet as the race towards ever higher EV market share heats up. And before we continue, stop using Yahoo Finance, stop using Google Finance, and have a look at our website, themarketisopen.com, where we have instant stock quotes and a brand new set of financial data going back 15 years, and it's all freely available. CNBC Fast Money panelist Dan Nathan appears to have very high hopes for General Motors, but not so much for Tesla. This may echo some of the broader market's seemingly positive sentiment towards General Motors, but may end up being unfounded. Nathan just recently stated on CNBC that it's actually Tesla that has the most to lose in this market. He boldly says that it's Tesla that has all of the risk, not any other OEM, as they're all focused on Tesla's market share in EVs, trying to grab it. Therefore, Tesla is the company with the most to lose, not a $55 billion market cap company like General Motors. GM is going to be around in 100 years, and he says the jury is still out if Tesla will be around. Now, Dan Nathan is focusing on Tesla's electric vehicle market share, which is a double-digit percentage, but in a very small but growing market. What he's forgetting is the majority of vehicles being sold are still ICE cars, and in the overall market, Tesla has just a 2 to 3% share, while other OEMs have the rest to defend or to lose. This is already evident in GM's frightening declining sales chart, showing a 40% drop in deliveries since its peak in 2016, where GM sold 10 million cars, down just to under 6 million cars delivered in 2022. Tesla sold 1.3 million cars last year, just a fraction of GM, not to mention the rest of the auto industry, indicating that there's still plenty of room to run as the shift to EVs is in its infancy. So it's clear that General Motors has much more to lose than Tesla, as the vast majority of their sales still come from cars that are being phased out. Even if GM can hit its targets of 50% electrification by 2030, the other 50% of its sales will be long gone by then. Dan Nathan also makes the ridiculous claim that GM will be around for another 100 years. But the General Motors of today hasn't even been around for 13 years since its IPO in 2010. The company went bankrupt in 2009, completely wiping out shareholders during the financial crisis. And even right now, the company has rebuilt its financial arm, GM Financial, which is one of the main entities that got it in trouble in the first place. And now we're starting to see banks fail in the US and around the globe in another economic downturn led by round 2 of a financial crisis. This also brings us to a recent move by GM CEO Mary Barra, who recently gave buyout offers to the tune of $1.8 billion for union employees before UAW negotiations began. This came just 2 months after Mary Barra said General Motors wasn't planning any layoffs, but is also reminiscent of the 2009 disaster where GM similarly laid off thousands of workers just before going bankrupt 4 months later. The recent move for voluntary white-collar buyouts are meant to be part of an effort to reduce costs and streamline GM's operations. However, it's noted that the timing of these offers seem to be aimed at appeasing the United Auto Workers, or UAW union, which has been like an anchor on GM's ability to move quickly and to innovate. The United Auto Workers has typically been resistant to layoffs and job reductions, which is why the implementation of voluntary buyouts may be viewed as a means of reducing headcount without attracting the union's disapproval. This approach enables the organization to downsize while avoiding any potential backlash from the UAW. Although if not enough employees take the buyout offer, the company may still be forced to resort to layoffs. Reportedly, General Motors offered the buyouts to the majority of its US salary workers. This could be like throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as GM has no idea of what talent it may be losing from the company as people accept the buyouts. Now, while General Motors is looking to cut costs in some areas, in other parts of the world, GM is increasing salaries to appease the unions. In response to rising inflation, union workers at GM's pickup truck factory in Silao, Mexico, will see salary increases by 10% this year, going into effect on March 25, 2023, surpassing last year's 8.5% raise. While this is great for employees, the UAW's grip forces increased spending at perhaps undesirable times, especially as economic recession looms. Unions themselves make more sense in monopoly industries where workers can't simply switch jobs to go elsewhere. While half a century ago, the United States auto industry was a happy oligopoly and unions perhaps made more sense, today's rapid and relentless pace of innovative disruption may wreck any company that has its shoes tied in a knot. Moreover, in China, General Motors has been experiencing a massive decline in its Chinese market share, which has fallen from approximately 15% in 2015 to 9.8% in 2022, the first time it has dropped below 10% since 2004, according to CNBC. Its earnings from its operations have also fallen by almost 70% since its highs in 2014. The decline appears to be due to the rising economic and political tensions between the US and China, as well as growing competition from government-backed domestic automakers and a generational shift in consumer perceptions regarding the automotive industry and electric vehicles. But interestingly, another American company, Tesla, appears to be doing quite well in China, which goes counter to these claims. The majority of Tesla's China sales come from just two models, the Model 3 and the Model Y, which appear to be resonating quite well in the country. Perhaps the Chinese market simply isn't happy with GM's current set of offerings. While General Motors plans to have 15 new electric models in China by 2025, this may not help. A wider variety of models actually adds more overhead. During Tesla's Investor Day event, Elon Musk brought this up, saying that there are hundreds of variants on the road today, but are they good variants? Companies have run out of things to do with them, so they just reshuffle the deck, and so the industry will converge, just like the phone industry did, according to Elon. And this takes a page from Steve Jobs at Apple, who always promised to deliver the best phone or product in each and every year, which is why Apple can still dominate even with so few variants. And we're already starting to see some of the impacts of releasing new models just for the sake of having new variants and how it's impacting General Motors' North American business. GM's Hummer EV has been disappointing to say the least. The company delivered 854 GMC Hummer EV pickups in 2022, which is 72 in the fourth quarter of last year. This represents about 0.2% of the total brand's volume. The Hummer is a massive, over 9,000-pound vehicle with a 212 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which seems to be draining the rest of the company of battery cell availability. While GM beat Tesla to the punch by releasing one of the first electric pickup trucks, Tesla spent all of 2022 focusing on increasing its proprietary 4680 battery cell production in anticipation of the Cybertruck's confirmed launch this year. Like all of Tesla's vehicles, Cybertruck will likely be able to scale far quicker and to a much higher degree than any of its competitors. And so the first-to-market advantage will be short-lived for companies like General Motors. It's also becoming harder and harder to differentiate against Tesla, again reminiscent of Apple, where they would copy every competitor feature they thought useful and then add 200 of their own to completely crush the competition. For instance, when the Hummer EV was first announced, General Motors boasted a crab walk feature, which allowed the back wheels to turn and the car to move diagonally. Shortly after, however, Elon Musk said that this feature would also be coming to the Cybertruck. Another one of the features that was setting GMC's Hummer EV and some of the other automakers apart was bi-directional charging technology, allowing the vehicle to discharge power back into the grid. The system, which GM calls V to L, will also enable the Hummer to power devices or provide backup power during outages. Proponents have touted that bi-directional charging could become a vital part of the energy grid as more electric vehicles and renewable energy sources become available. However, at Tesla's recent Investor Day event, it was confirmed by Senior Vice President Drew Baglino and CEO Elon Musk that bi-directional charging will not only be coming to the Cybertruck, but also Tesla's entire lineup over the next 1 to 2 years. Tesla has expertise designing its own inverters and power electronics. While the company didn't believe it was a priority in the past, and Elon Musk still reluctantly doesn't think it's needed, Tesla has found a way to add this bi-directional charging feature while at the same time actually reducing the cost of its power electronics within the vehicle. Again, this feature can be useful in certain situations, especially during power failures, although Elon Musk has a point that sending power back to the grid is not that beneficial, as it will simply drain the car battery, which isn't ideal. That said, it's interesting to see the team at Tesla add it into the vehicle despite Elon Musk viewing it as unnecessary. However, this eliminates another key differentiating factor that Tesla competitors have, making it even more difficult to take on Tesla's lineup of EVs. General Motors faces a challenging transition to electric vehicles and must contend with setbacks in China and struggles to streamline its US operations in the face of powerful unions. While there appears to be optimism towards GM's future, Tesla CEO Elon Musk has made some bold moves that could further impact the industry, adding more pressure to GM's already ailing situation. So do you think General Motors will be able to turn it around in the US and recover its market share in China? And do you see GM being a company that will be around for the next 100 years? Don't forget to watch my video on Tesla's new motor enhancements. Please hit the like button and subscribe, we would really appreciate that. And a huge shout out to all of our patrons that help to support our channel. Your support helps us to continue to make great content. Thank you guys so much for watching.